Welcome to the Does This Happen to You podcast, where we explore the funny side of truth is stranger than fiction stories. Our story this week is from Annalise Macon, who you will find on Amazon.com. And here is Berries and Cream. Opa has picked berries for you. Mom was in her typical taking care of business mode. She rushed past me through the kitchen with an armful of washed laundry. She had no time to waste before heading back out into the field. This was the berry picking and haymaking season in my Bavarian village. You could tell by the tattered house dress Mama was wearing. Her hair was tied under a headscarf. Her skin was flushed. On her upper arms, tan lines showed from the longer sleeves of spring. She was ready to jump on the tractor as soon as the sheets were hung. I flung my school bag onto the corner bench. Then I dropped my 4 letters down and grabbed the plate. It was 1:30 p.m. of the same old routine, a frazzled school day, and I had barely time to catch my breath. Everybody else, my parents, Grandpa, 2 sisters, and a brother, had finished their lunch before me. School had been tedious. Homework was plenty, especially Latin vocabs. Now I was facing the leftovers, a pretty salty pancake soup and schmaltz noodles. For those who do not know, pancake soup is a clear broth with plain omelet strips cut into it, and schmaltz noodles are sticks of fry bread. Beggars can't be choosers, and I was a lazy one on top, not willing to crack an egg or butter a toast. But I could smell the berries before Mama had set the bowl on the table. "Here, for you! Isn't Opa always looking out for you?" Wow! Raspberries, blueberries, strawberries. They glistened like sumptuous little jewels. Yes, Opa was quite a fox. He knew the best places for everything in the forest. Berries no exception. And these berries? Have you ever tasted the wild ones? It's the ultimate rich, deep aroma of summer, a forest sonata. I ogled the bowl. Grandpa always looked out for us kids, me and my 3 younger siblings. He helped us build birdhouses, constructed an underpass along the creek so that we didn't have to cross the busy state road, and made sure to drive us home with a stick at 6:30 in the afternoon. He often shared cookies with us from his secret stash and rewarded us with tips for running his grocery store errands. He taught us how to feed and catch chickens and how to be gentle with cats. Gramps was quite a hound, according to what I overheard from his card-playing beer buddies. He had served in the World War I cavalry, survived the Belgian trenches on the Siegfried Line, and was known as the rebel with a flag, the Bavarian flag. The Nazis had almost thrown him in prison for his defiance. Wow, so many strawberries. Did he bring a basket along? Nope. His hat? No, his bandana. You know how he ties these knots in it. His bandana? Yes. Eat up. I must go now, Mama said. Here's the cream. Don't waste too much sugar. Aren't you getting a royal feast? And out she was. Seconds later, the small tractor puttered off the yard. Gramps' bandana? The berries suddenly didn't smell so good anymore. I didn't dare imagine all the places the bandana had been. And he never put it in the wash. He insisted on washing it himself, usually in the rainwater trough under the gutter spout. Easy grandpa logic. That red bandana was his only one, his lucky bandana. He couldn't do a day without it, so he washed it himself as needed. As needed? I gagged. Apparently it didn't need it very often. I had seen plenty of blotches and stains on his bandana. I kept on ladling my pancake soup, very slowly. Gramps' bandana. Was it washed? When was it washed last? I scrutinized the sparkling berries in front of me, and my imagination went wild. Poisoned by bandana berries? Should I risk a light poisoning? It was a hot day today, and Gramps for sure had wiped his sweat on his bandana. Or was I in for a severe intoxication from snuff snot? That is, Gramps was addicted to stuffing snuff up his nose and then blow it out like an erupting volcano into his almighty bandana. Brown goop. He could have easily done this today because he always looked for excuses to take snuff breaks from work. Add to that the bloody accident that had grossed me out. 3 weeks ago, Gramps had spliced not only the kindling, but also his palm with his splicing knife. Blood was dripping. No big deal, he had growled after Mom had rushed to bring him a bandage. He beat her to it and tied his good fortune bandana around the cut. Maybe it had curative properties. 2 days later, the cut was gone. What magic was in this old rag rug? In his omnipresent bandana, Gramps had once wrapped a bird with a broken wing. By the time he had wanted to show us the field lark, it fluttered out of the bandana as if nothing had happened. Opa's bandana did many services. It wiped off the dust from a dirty lawn chair, tied together a bundle of kindling sticks, or served as a cover for his balding head when he forgot his hat. But where had it been lately? I stared at the bowl of berries. The soup was finished, and I was still hungry. I pulled the bowl closer and sniffed the stunning aroma. Too tempting to resist. I sprinkled a spoonful of sugar over the berries, drowned them in heavy cream, and got to work. The berries' luscious fragrance kept all its promise to the last one. You couldn't have bought such delicacy in a store. Each little gem melted on my tongue like a candied rhapsody of summer. I was in heaven. Maybe the bandana had added some extra flavor? By that time, I had totally forgotten about my aversion. At last, only a small puddle of cream was left at the bottom, and a couple of flecks of buttery crumbs. Wait a minute. Were they moving? 3 little critters squirmed to escape my final attack. Tiny grubs with innocent eyes. Little wiggly sprinkles with itty-bitty beady eyes. How many of them had I already eaten? I dropped the spoon. Raspberries! Dang it! Gramps' eyesight wasn't so good anymore either. From the Bandana Book, Stories of True Grit and Heart, 2023. Thanks for listening. I'm Chris Kepler, and I hope you enjoyed listening to these stories as much as I enjoyed narrating them. I'd love for more people to hear these wonderful stories, so please share and tell your friends.